would like to introduce UCLA's Dean of Humanities, Professor David Skarberg. Dean Skarberg is a scholar of ancient Chinese, Greek, and Latin literature. Since coming to UCLA in 1996, he has published an award-winning book and numerous articles on early Chinese historical writing, literature, philosophy, and oratory. Most recently, he has completed a translation with two collaborators of China's first historical work, the Zhujuan. Did I get that right? He has served as co-director of the Center for Chinese Studies and chair of the Department of Asian Languages and Cultures, and was proud to receive the UCLA Staff Assembly Faculty Staff Partnership Award in 2011. Please join me in welcoming the Dean of the Division of Humanities, Professor David Skarberg.
Thank you very much, Dominic. I'd like to take a moment to congratulate all of our graduates here today and to wish all of you the best of luck with your future endeavors. In lieu of making a long speech about the value of the humanities, I'd just like to remind you that as you go forward and as all of you pursue your individual pathways in your careers and in your lives, you should never be afraid to look for value in the humanities as you've studied them here at UCLA, because values themselves originate from our humanistic legacy. Look for the values in your degrees because humanities is where the value lies. I'm pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Shoshanna Gruss, an alumna with a dual degree in art history and history. Shoshanna Gruss is a founder and creative director of Shoshanna, a contemporary fashion company launched in 1998. After graduating from UCLA in 1997, Gruss decided to explore her interest in fashion at the ground level, working at a lingerie factory. This experience provided an invaluable education in design, fabric sourcing, and garment construction. Armed with her newly acquired practical knowledge, she designed a collection of dresses that addressed her personal fashion frustrations. Her label soon became known for its flattering lines, signature prints, and feminine aesthetic. In 2001, she revolutionized the industry when her brand became the first to market swimwear as separates with lingerie-inspired sizing. In 2005, she launched Shoshanna Baby Girl, and in 2015, further expanded her brand by launching the evening wear collection, Shoshanna Midnight. In addition to running her business and raising 3 children, Gruss serves as chair of the Associates Committee of the Society of Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital. She's also a member of the boards of trustees at Nightingale Bamford and Temple Emmanuel in New York City. Please join me in welcoming Shoshanna Gruss.
Thank you, Dean Skarberg, and thank you all. It is such an honor to be back here at my beloved alma mater. First, I want to extend my condolences to the families affected by last week's tragedies and say how proud I am and how touched by how the Bruin community came together. That resilience and camaraderie reminded me so much of conversations I've often had with my mother and father. Both of my parents are Holocaust survivors, born during the final years of World War II. Growing up, I heard unthinkable stories of how every member of their family was murdered, how all of their possessions were taken, and that the only reason my parents are here is because my grandparents had the drive to live and not give up. I often wondered how they could stay so optimistic and continue to move forward when faced with such hopelessness. They told me the most defiant thing that you can do in situations like this is to keep going. I have always lived my life and run my business with that same determination to never give up and to see obstacles as opportunities. I am also often reminded, even on my worst days, how much more difficult life can be. So let's keep living and turn our attention to graduation. After all, this is a defining milestone and achievement to be celebrated. When I was first asked to speak here, I thought, what could these students from this esteemed university learn from me? When I sat where you are sitting 20 years ago, I remember I was so excited. I was pretty confident, but I truly had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Today, when college graduates just like you, wanting a career in fashion or to start their own line, say to me, "Did you go to the Fashion Institute of Technology?" I tell them no. "Well, then do you have an MBA?" And I say, "No." And they say, "Well, then you must have majored in fashion design." And then I say, "Nope, I did not." They want to know, how was I able to start my business and be successful without that kind of education? Believe it or not, I actually chose my dual major in history and art history at the very last minute. Looking back, what you get from UCLA are the tools to solve problems, to continue to learn and to grow. By getting your degree is truly only the first chapter for you. Your education has just begun. When I left this campus, it was the summer of 1997, I thought I'd go back home to New York City and start an analyst program like most of my friends. But one day I was watching a TV show on E! At my parents' apartment, and there was this model wearing this gorgeous black bikini studded with red crystals and had this pretty bikini bottom, and that outfit, it was designed for a model's body. And I thought, I have a nice shape, but there is absolutely no way I could ever fit into that. I would say very few of us could. Why doesn't anyone make that for someone shaped like me? And at that moment, I felt this electric bolt, a tightness and a twisting in my body, and I thought to myself, why don't I? So I started furiously sketching and plotting and planning, and from that moment on, I decided I'm going to start my own clothing line, a line that was inclusive of more body types. I really didn't worry about how. Because I have no experience in fashion, no business or merchandising experience, practical doubts like, can I make money doing this? Can I design a whole collection? Or can I even get these clothes produced? They just never came into my mind. Because I didn't know what all the potential pitfalls were on the horizon, I didn't let fear hold me back. In other words, I wasn't afraid of what I didn't know. I tell you this because we all feel when we step out into the real world that having no experience is going to keep us from getting that first big break. But I invite you to see this another way. My first piece of advice for you is to see your lack of experience as a gift, one that has the power to free you. It allows you to dream a little bigger, be bold, and to follow your gut. That's how I was able to make my dream a reality within just 1 year of graduating from UCLA. I learned my trade at an internship at a low-end lingerie factory, and after several months of 15-hour days and many, many, many wrong turns, Bloomingdale's placed my first order. It was for 300 dresses, which at the time sounded like the biggest order on the planet, but in actuality, it was just a test order. But it meant they were taking a chance on me. I was 23 years old when my dresses first appeared on the racks of a major department store. And that was actually the very first time I had a tinge of fear. Looking out onto the floor of a sea of dresses, I thought to myself, what if nobody buys them? But thankfully they did. We sold out within a few weeks, and I knew I was onto something. My concept had touched a nerve, and boutiques all over the country started carrying my line. Although I might have lacked the years of technical skills and business acumen, I realized my competitive advantage was that I knew how to think like a consumer. I knew what women wanted and what was not out there, and I could deliver it. Which leads me to another valuable lesson. If there is something that you need, that you feel is missing from the marketplace, that may very well be your opportunity. Nothing fit my unique shape. I was a customer that was being ignored, and that was the perfect recipe to start my own business. Years later, my instincts were confirmed when I traveled all over the country and held trunk shows. I met young girls from Sacramento, St. Louis, New Orleans, and they looked at me, sometimes with tears in their eyes, and said, I never felt like anyone was designing clothes for me until now. And that meant more to me than all of my retail success. So just because no one has ever done something, that doesn't mean it can't be done, or that you can't be the one to do it. It just may mean no one has had the courage to try. This lesson applies to aspiring entrepreneurs, those heading into corporate America or the public sector, as well as those pursuing a career in education or at a not-for-profit. No matter where you are headed next, if there is a void, fill it. If there is a better way of doing business or making a difference in this world, go for it. My big idea, I decided to launch swimsuits and sell the tops and bottoms of bikinis separately. I also sized them like lingerie, making them a better fit for more women. It seemed so obvious to me, but surprisingly, no one had thought to do it. At 24, I never had a grand plan to change the swimwear world. This was a bigger goal than I ever could have set for my company. People have asked me throughout my career, what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? And I think, the truth is, I've never really had one. And if I stop to think about it, why would I limit myself to one? Instead of being guided by some predetermined lofty goal, I'm more the type to go to work every day and get my hands dirty. When I started, I did every job from ordering fabric to visiting factories. For years, the UPS man assumed I was the intern because I was always on our floor packing boxes. Regardless of whether it is year 1 of my business or year 16, I did grunt work. And you know what? I still do. I guess you could say I'm sort of scrappy. Later in life, that perseverance, which I have to believe I inherited from my grandparents, kicked in again. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was hospitalized for 3 months and bedridden. Friends and family gently urged me to put my business aside. But in my mind, I had to continue growing my company while keeping my baby safe. I literally couldn't get up to take a shower or even sit up to eat a meal, but I set up a makeshift office from my hospital bed where I took fabric appointments, had design meetings, squeezed in fittings right in between my daily sonograms. After my first incredibly difficult pregnancy, the path toward growing my family did not get easier. While raising my daughter and building my brand, I suffered 11 heartbreaking miscarriages. For as strong as I thought I was, that almost broke me. But my work and my thriving daughter, Sienna, saved me. My 2 greatest creations that I fought so hard for were now my lifeline. And just when I thought I couldn't take another blow, I was diagnosed with cancer. Not that I needed any reminders at this point about what was really important to me, but it became even clearer. Thankfully, it was caught very early and I beat it. I didn't have much time to dwell on it because not long after, I was finally blessed with twins, a beautiful baby boy and gorgeous, vivacious girl. My fortitude was tested once more when my twins were only 1 year old and I went through a difficult divorce. I mention these things not because they define me, but because they are part of who I am and they have made me that much stronger. Now I have 3 beautiful, delicious, fun, wild children who make me smile every day. Over the last 2 decades, I have seen many fashion labels come and go, and I have been fortunate that my business has remained profitable over the last 20 years, despite the competitive landscape and changes in the industry. Our brand is now in 500 stores worldwide. What I've learned over the years and what I hope you will remember is my final lesson. Regardless of whether you are starting your career or 10 years in or facing a personal crossroads in your life, keep that same scrappiness, that hunger, that determination throughout. Life is often a battle. You are always going to be climbing uphill, but a Bruin never gives up. And with that determination, venture out into the world with excitement about what you don't know and what lies ahead. All the unknowns, the struggles, the successes, it is all a gift. So class of 2016, take that gift, run with it, and make a decision to be unstoppable. Congratulations on this first chapter, graduates. Thank you.